The rain pounded relentlessly against the cracked windshield of the old station wagon, turning the world outside into a blurry watercolor of gray and despair. Little Emily, just 7 years old, huddled in the back seat with her baby brother, Max, wrapped in her thin arms. Her daddy slumped over the steering wheel, his breath shallow and ragged, the fever burning through him like wildfire. "Daddy, we're in the rain," she whispered, her voice trembling as she dialed the only number she knew by heart, 911, unaware that fate had a twist in store, connecting her not to a dispatcher, but to the personal line of a powerful CEO who would change their lives forever. In the glittering high-rise of downtown Chicago, Alexander Hart sat alone in his penthouse office, the city lights twinkling like distant stars below. It was late, far past midnight, and the weight of his empire pressed down on him. As the CEO of Hart Tech, a multi-billion-dollar tech conglomerate, he had built his fortune on innovation, smart devices, AI assistants, and emergency response systems that promised to save lives. But tonight, his own life felt empty. His marriage had crumbled years ago under the strain of endless board meetings and global travel, leaving him with a hollow mansion and regrets that echoed louder than any quarterly earnings report. His phone buzzed unexpectedly, a private line he rarely used. Annoyed, he answered, expecting a wrong number. Instead, a tiny, tear-choked voice pierced the silence. "Hello? Is this the police?" "Daddy, we're in the rain, he's not waking up good." Alexander froze, his polished world shattering in an instant. The call wasn't supposed to reach him, it was a glitch in the beta version of his company's new emergency app, rerouting a desperate plea straight to his device during a system test. But there was no time for technical explanations. Emily's words painted a vivid picture. Their car had broken down on a flooded side road during a brutal storm, her father ill from days without proper food or shelter, and her baby brother crying from hunger. "Please, mister," she begged, "we don't have nowhere to go." Alexander's heart, long armored by corporate battles, cracked open. He wasn't just a CEO anymore, he was a lifeline. Back in the car, Emily clutched the phone like a talisman. Her world had been unraveling for months. Her mommy had left when Max was born, saying the life of a struggling mechanic's wife was too hard. Daddy, Tom Reynolds, had tried to hold it together, working double shifts at the auto shop until layoffs hit. Bills piled up, the eviction notice came, and now they were living out of the wagon, chasing odd jobs across state lines. The storm had caught them unprepared, the engine sputtering to a halt as Tom's untreated flu turned into something worse. Emily remembered the stories her daddy told her about heroes in books, but real life didn't have capes or magic. Or did it? The man on the phone, Mr. Alex, he called himself, spoke with a calm authority that made her feel seen. "Tell me where you are, sweetheart," he said. "I'm coming to help." Alexander sprang into action, his mind racing like the algorithms he designed. He triangulated their location using the app's GPS data, a feature meant for first responders but now his personal tool. He called his assistant, barking orders to mobilize a private helicopter despite the weather. Money could bend rules. As he waited, memories flooded him, his own childhood in a rundown apartment, his single mother working 3 jobs, the nights he'd gone hungry. Success had erased those scars on the surface, but they lingered, fueling his drive. Why had he built Hart Tech? To connect people, to save them. Yet here he was, isolated at the top. This call wasn't random, it was a reckoning. The helicopter ride through the tempest was harrowing, wind buffeting the craft like an angry giant. Alexander gripped the armrest, second-guessing his impulsiveness. What if he was too late? What if this family saw him as just another rich stranger meddling? But when the chopper landed near the stranded car, spotlight cutting through the rain, he saw Emily's wide eyes peering out, and doubt vanished. Tom was semi-conscious, delirious from pneumonia, Max wailing in distress. Alexander bundled them into the warmth of the aircraft, his security team handling the logistics. "You're safe now," he told Emily, wrapping her in a blanket. She looked up at him with a mix of awe and fear. "Are you an angel, Mr. Alex?" At the hospital, the real challenges began. Tom was admitted to the ICU, his condition critical from exposure and infection. Emily and Max were checked for malnutrition, their small bodies bearing the marks of hardship. Alexander stayed, pacing the sterile halls, his phone buzzing with ignored work emails. He learned their story in fragments, Tom's pride keeping him from seeking welfare, Emily's school attendance spotty as they moved around, the constant fear of child services splitting them up. Relatable in their humanity, they mirrored the families his company's charity arm claimed to help, but how much had he truly given? Guilt gnawed at him. He arranged for the best doctors, covering bills anonymously at first, but Emily's innocent questions forced transparency. "Why are you helping us?" she asked one night, coloring pictures by Tom's bedside. "Because sometimes, life gives you a second chance," Alexander replied, his voice thick. He shared his own past, how his mother's death from untreated illness had pushed him to succeed, vowing never to let vulnerability define him. But vulnerability was exactly what he needed. As Tom recovered, slowly regaining strength with 4 antibiotics and rest, a bond formed. Tom, a gruff but kind man with calloused hands, challenged Alexander's worldview. "Money ain't everything, son," Tom said during a quiet conversation. "Family is." "I lost sight of that, chasing stability that never came." Alexander nodded, realizing his empire was built on isolation. He offered Tom a job at Heartwarming's maintenance division, no charity, a real position based on Tom's skills. But the offer came with strings: therapy for the family, stable housing in a company-subsidized apartment. Emotional depths surfaced in waves. Emily's nightmares of abandonment woke her screaming, and Alexander found himself reading bedtime stories via video call, his stern demeanor softening. Max's first smile at him melted years of cynicism. Challenges mounted, Tom's relapse into doubt, fearing he'd fail again, Alexander's board pressuring him to return to real work, media sniffing around the CEO's secret rescue. Resolutions came through raw honesty. In a pivotal scene, Tom confronted Alexander, "You think throwing cash fixes this? My kids need a father, not a benefactor." Alexander admitted his fears: "I'm terrified of connecting, of losing. But your daughter called me for a reason." They forged a pact: mentorship for Tom, fatherly advice for Alexander. The story unfolded over months, pacing like a gentle river building to a cascade. Emily started school, her laughter echoing in their new home. Tom excelled at work, his ingenuity impressing engineers. Alexander restructured Heartwarming's charity, focusing on family support programs inspired by the Reynolds. A key challenge: Emily's school bullying over her rags to riches tale. Resolution: Alexander visited, sharing his story, turning stigma into inspiration. Another hurdle: Alexander's ex-wife reappearing, drawn by publicity, forcing him to confront unfinished emotional business. He chose growth, politely declining reconciliation, focusing on new bonds. As spring bloomed, the family picnicked in a park, rain long forgotten. Emily, now confident, hugged Alexander. "You answered when no one else could," she said. He smiled, tears in his eyes. "And you reminded me why I build what I do." The inspiring message resonated. In a world of disconnection, one unexpected call can bridge divides, proving kindness isn't weakness, it's the ultimate strength. Never underestimate the power of reaching out, miracles hide in the mundane. If this story touched your heart, hit that like button to spread the warmth, and subscribe for more tales of hope and humanity. Your support keeps these stories coming. Who knows, the next one might inspire you to answer your own unexpected call.